It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we take a bottle of beer, snap off its cap, and savour the many flavoured delights that the industry has to give us. My name is Mark, your friendly beer noob, and joining me, having survived that pandemic that is man flu with the bravery and tenacity we've come to expect, is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mark. It seems as though I've passed it on to you, though, doesn't it?
You have through the digital waves, you
Yes.
bastard.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's right. The wife's refusing to take me to A&E, but, I'm battling through.
They just don't understand, do
They
they? I
don't,
mean,
no. It's serious, man.
mine kicked in properly after last week's show. Literally finished recording, went to bed that night, got up the following morning. That was it. I was on me, knocking on death's door. But they just, that people just don't understand how bad it is when the man flu kicks in.
I know. It's the reason why they call it man flu and just like not normal flu. It's not bird
Uh,
flu. It's man
no,
flu.
no, no. Although I do believe I found the cure for it this weekend, mate.
Yes,
Um,
I think. Tell the listeners what the cure for man flu is.
well, I think we both have been following in the footsteps of Chris from Crema Brewery,
Yeah.
who's had a dose of the man flu as well, and his suggested prescription was Cannonball followed by Thornbridge Halcyon.
Right.
So I attacked the Cannonball on Friday night, and that although it made me nice and numb, it didn't really clear me too much. So Saturday night I attacked the Halcyon, and that properly cleared me out. I'm telling you, there's the future right there in man flu cures. It's Thornbridge Halcyon,
And how many of
ladies
them
and
did you
gentlemen.
have though?
I consumed two of
Yeah,
those.
you had a liter of it.
Yes, yes, it took that, and then I was contemplating doing a cannonball chaser as after the second one, but I thought that
God,
was just foolish. What
that
what can I say?
that would have cleared everything out.
Yeah, that's all for science, mate. That was a scientific
Oh,
experiment. Does
very good.
halcyon clear man flu? Answer: yes.
Tick. Oh, this week we're trying a beer from down Surrey way, but before we get to that, Steve, you went on a little adventure last week
I did.
to a brewery that we've just been talking about, Thornbridge.
Yes, yes.
Um, you did you actually go into the brewery? You just went to their shop.
I it's basically one and the same. So
Okay.
they're on an industrial estate just outside of Bakewell, which is in Derbyshire, and I was up there on business, so I managed to get sort of like 45 minutes to walk down. Really kind of modern building, branded Thornbridge everywhere. Just an open expanse of space when you walk in. Um, they've got a couple of taps with their beer on offer, and then you just buy your bottles that you want there, and then kind of their staff team are all sat round a mezzanine floor
Yep.
on the top. And I had a chat with James from the brewery, because I was hoping to try and hook up with him to get an interview down, but just didn't manage to do that. But I managed to have a good chat with him anyway. Um, Picked up some beers as well. Picked up quite a lot of beer while I was in there, more than was sensible to carry back on the train from Derbyshire to Essex. But the good news is, as a result of actually having a few minutes just to chat with James, there's a good chance we might move a few of the beers around in this half of the season to do one of the new Thornbridge beers, but more on that next week, because we should be able to confirm that next week. But more importantly, sort of looking forward probably to season 5, much like we've done this season with the Breweries of London series. I'm hoping to continue that sort of theme and do a few breweries from around that Derbyshire Peak District northernish area. So Thornbridge are very much on the list now, so look out for that
Yeah.
much later on in the year.
You just want another excuse to do Thornbridge.
I want to do. I have plans at the moment to do Thornbridge, Buxton, and at least Magic Rock as those three as a starter. Where I go from there is very much dependent on what sort of pass I can get.
Yes, I'll pass out.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other
So, but
beery? Go. Sorry, mate.
no, no, it's just to say thanks to James and to Thornbridge for extending that hospitality, and to say that you can check them out. They're at the Craft Beer Rising event this weekend, this coming weekend in East London, which runs from the 23rd to the 21st to 23rd of Feb. We spoke about it last week. Harveststoon are there as well, and a load of other breweries are there. But seeing as neither you or I are going, we're not talking about it.
No. We'll be jealous enough over the weekend.
Yes,
and everyone else we follow on Twitter will be going, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we won't be talking about it next week either. So don't expect any news on craft beer rising from this quarter. You
got any other beery news, mate?
No, mate, nothing this week. Just been, like I say, experimenting with different man flu remedies.
Right, well, let's hope this week's beer is a remedy for me, because I'm suffering, mate. I'm suffering.
I know, I can hear it, mate. I'm wondering whether you're actually going to be able to taste anything. So maybe just completely reliant on colours this week, eh?
Yeah. Right. Like I said, the brewery is from Surrey. They're just north of the Hogs Road, and they're called the Hogs Brewery. They were formed in 1992. Look at me doing my research. That's the extent of my research. They have a full range of beers.
That's the first line on the back of the bottle.
Oh, is it? I actually had to look up their website. Yeah, I've known of Hogs for quite a while. You can get their beers in most decent supermarkets. I know that my local Morrison's has them. This week's one is Hogs Tea, or Traditional English Ale. Now, what do you know about this beer, mate, other than it's not actually tea?
Not a lot, actually. I've not had it before. I'm assuming, as we were joking about last week, I'm assuming that it's probably full of lovely, earthy, grassy, bush-like English hops. I did do a little bit of research on it in the week, and it does contain Fuggles,
right,
and Goldings hops. But no, it's what I'm expecting is a fairly dark amber coloured beer that smells really earthy and has just got that proper good English bittery taste.
Yeah.
And in preparation for that, I spent mostly last night drinking English bitters to try and get myself ready for it after the double whammy of Cannonball and Halcyon on Friday and Saturday.
So you're in the zone.
I believe I am in the zone.
Right.
That's if I'm down with the kids, I'm in the zone.
Very good. And I had another Hogs beer on the weekend, which was their Gardener's Tipple, which was very nice.
Yes, I've tried that one as well, and I've also tried the Rip Snorter, which was a bit more of a darker beer, more of a ruby beer, but that had a nice strong kick to it. That one did.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that one. Anyway, shall we get into this tea?
Let's
have a nice cup of tea.
Yes, because Hogsback actually sent us quite a few of these beers a while back, and they also put some ciders in, didn't they? And I think you were saying that your better half tried some of the ciders.
Yeah, she had one of the ciders, which I can't remember the name of, but she had one on Saturday night, and she's got a real one for, like, the traditional ciders that you're getting now, the craft ciders.
Yeah.
Generally, the more cloudy looking ones, the proper pure ciders rather than the Bulmers or Recorder Leaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's normally into the Bulmers and the Recorder Leak, but she actually really liked the Hogsback one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
you heard it here first. Cider news
indeed.
On the Beer O'Clock Show.
I'm trying to find what the name of their cider is. Oh, Hazy Hog, that's it. Yeah, that's their cider, which she really liked. So, good on you.
Okay. So there you go. If anybody wants to give cider a go, give the Hogsback Hazy Hog.
Right, let's see if I can actually smell anything of this beer.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, it looks pretty pointless exercise.
Yeah.
Looks exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
That's it's a sort of brownish beer, good white head. Yeah, it's got that earthy, coppery smell to it, which you won't get. Oh, mate, if you're not getting the aroma, I doubt whether you're going to get anything out of this tonight.
I'm drinking it merely because I should get my fluids, being ill.
Yes, yeah. And tea does count as your
Tea is
fluid
very good. People
as,
will
as
ask
well.
me, what did you do last night? Try and get over your flu. I had a nice big glass of tea.
Yes.
Right. Well, nope, not getting anything.
Let's just do it. Let's see if
do
you
it.
get anything.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, I'm getting a caramelly malt, which is quite nice.
Yeah. It's not overly carbonated, which is nice. It means it doesn't really fizz around in the mouth
Yep.
too much. Goes down nice and easily.
There's a nice
Um,
spice on it.
Yeah. That coppery aroma's coming through on the flavour as well.
Kind of like a ready brown taste.
Nice. Yeah. Not too bitter on the finish. It's quite a pleasant, smooth bitterness to finish on. I'm going to go straight in there and say that this is a pretty decent session beer.
It is only 4.2%, so quite easily drinkable. Get a few bottles in.
Yeah. On the Belch, I'm getting a little bit more earthiness
Mm-hmm.
to it, which is probably those wonderful English hops flying through my system.
Well, obviously I'm not getting everything from this that you are, but I'm finding that it's pretty well balanced. This.
Yeah.
I don't normally, in my experience, I don't normally get that kind of that sharp bitterness to an English bitter before. Normally, that hoppy bitterness.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of the hoppy bitterness
Oh, you're not?
or the spiciness. No, I'm just getting a lovely smooth finish.
It doesn't linger, but it's there when I'm drinking it. I find it maybe it's because that's one of the few things I can pick up.
Well, I think we've had this before, haven't we? That it's quite clear that I lean towards the big, strong American hops in terms of my preference, whereas you tend to prefer the English hops and you tend to pick them up a little bit easier than I do. But bearing in mind the beers that I've drunk this weekend, I'm surprised I'm actually tasting anything in there because I've gone on record many a time to say how wonderful Cannonball is, but having tried Halcyon for the first time this weekend, I think Cannonball has a new challenger for its throne, because I was absolutely blown away by that.
Do they both use American hops, those two beers?
I believe so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
There's definitely none of the earthiness coming through that you're getting on this.
This uses Fuggles. And what other hops does it use, or was that it?
No, I think it's just Fuggles.
Okay.
I'm sure I read somewhere that it uses Goldings as well.
Right, Golding does an English hop, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have to say my preference is really with the English hops, because the American ones, they do have that kind of second wave that
Yes.
comes
Yeah.
with them. I've said it before, it's like having the hop flowers actually in your mouth bursting with those American beers, whereas this kind of just leaves the traces on the beer. It doesn't really struggle with the other flavours. I find that really nice.
I'm getting a slight caramelness now to the beer as I'm reaching the final third of the glass.
Yeah.
I think if we compare it to, let's make a direct comparison to one of the beers that we did last week, the Broken Dial, the Amber Ale.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is far more smoother. It's less bitter, certainly less carbonated.
Yeah.
However, that being said, there's been quite a few people that fed back on the Broken Dial, including Harvestoon themselves, saying we probably shouldn't have done it cold. It should have been done at room temperature.
Oh, really?
Now, yeah, which I think is in direct contradiction to what the label tells you, because it says serve chilled.
Best served chilled at 8 degrees.
Yeah,
That's not room temperature.
No. Yeah, so by all accounts, we've been encouraged to give that another go, and seeing as I still have copious amounts of it, I will be giving it a good few goes again.
Yeah, and also Nate from Beers Bites.
Booze Beats
Beers
Bites.
Beats Bites. He suggested drinking it straight from the bottle as well.
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
Anyway, this beer.
This beer.
I'm definitely finding it much, even with my cold, I'm finding it much nicer than the Broken Dial from last week. Like I was saying, For a bitter, I don't normally get that spicy edge to it, that hoppy edge. It might just be because that's one of the few things I can pick up with my cold. But I'm getting a nice smooth maltiness to it. Nice clear caramel coming through with that trace of fuggles. Very nicely balanced, I think.
Yeah, I think this is a fine example of a good English ale. Actually, there is nothing offensive about it. It's an enjoyable pint. I think it's a pint that you could probably enjoy at any time of the year. We're drinking this on a cold, dark winter's evening, but I think equally, and again, I'm doing it at room temperature tonight. But I think equally, if you was to put that in the fridge and have it on a sunny afternoon in the summer, that'd be a very enjoyable drink.
Yeah, I'm doing mine cold. It's been out of the fridge for about 40 minutes, so it's pretty warming up to about 10 degrees now or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll probably get, if I had it warm like you, I'll probably get even more of the malt coming through and not so much of the hops.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to try and go for tonight was to try and get the other characteristics, because I think sometimes when you do a beer cold or chilled, you do lose all of the flavors. And we've said it many times, haven't we, when we review beers, that as the beer has warmed, the flavor profile's changed.
Yeah.
So tonight I just wanted to, as it was a traditional English ale, and as there was no guidance on the bottle to say how it should be drunk, I just decided I'd do it at room temperature.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a Hogs back beer in the pub. Have you?
I may have done occasionally, but I know they do quite a range of their beers on cask.
Yeah.
And I imagine in the area where they are, the sort of like Surrey, probably Hampshire area, they probably find them in quite a few pubs. I imagine Glenn Johnson, who was on the show before, he's from down that way. I imagine he'd probably point you to a few pubs where they sold Hogs back.
Yeah, I'm sure down Farnham Way and stuff like that, you can probably get them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame because I've only ever seen Hogs back in the supermarket. And to be honest, this is another thing where, remember back in season 1, I always used to talk about how I judged beer by its label.
Yeah.
How for months and months I didn't want to have the Sierra Nevada because it had that really badly drawn label, and I thought it was going to be a cheap piece of piss. And it turned out to be a beautiful beer. I've kind of stayed away from Hogs back because I saw them as a bit of a novelty because they had all these different pig labels.
Yeah.
But my God, what have I been missing out on? This is a lovely beer.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I say, we were lucky enough to be sent quite the case of beers by Hogsback, which included this and the Gardener's Tipple and the Rip Snorter and some ciders, and there were a couple of
There's a lager in there,
Hogstar lager as well, and with that one they keep playing around with the recipe. So every time they release a new batch of it, it's a slightly changed recipe from the last one, and they're encouraging their sort of like drinkers to try and vote on which one they prefer before they make it a permanent addition to their range. So it's quite the range of beers that they do, certainly in bottles. And I think this is also the first time we've probably come across or we've probably featured a brewery on the show that brews cider as well.
Yeah.
Normally it's kind of one or the other. So they are catering for quite a varied market, I think, in terms of what they're putting out. And everything I've tried from them so far has been of a decent quality as well.
Indeedy. Right. Anything else you want to say about this?
No, mine's gone.
Mine's to be done.
I really enjoyed that. It's really well balanced. A lovely smooth finish to it. Just enough bitterness and spices just to tickle the tongue a little bit after. But that was a quality English ale.
It was. This made me feel much better.
I bet it has. Now you want to follow that with some sort of chaser that's of about 7.4%.
Yeah, or follow it with a lem sip chaser.
Yeah. Lem sip in a hot water bottle.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah. Yeah, just to echo what you said, that's a great glass of bitter, that is. Lovely. It has some character in there. We get a lot of bitters that are just that, they're just bitter. There's nothing else to it. We've had some proper boring beers before, but this has that nice bit of character to it. For me, it's getting that fuggles through was lovely, and that smooth maltiness as well. It was really good. Yeah. So, what beers are we doing next week, or what beer?
Next week we are doing another of our Breweries of London series. We are doing Honest Brew's Riwaka Hop Mule. And there'll also be an interview with Andrew Reeve, founder of Honest Brew, as well, attached to next week's show.
Cool.
And if people again do want to try some of these beers that we're doing on the show, Honest Brew are one of the sites that have offered us 10% discount to our listeners as well to order some of the beers. And I think the ones that you can get from Honest Brew are obviously the Honest Brew one that we're doing next week, and then certainly one of the Weird Beard beers that we're doing in a few weeks' time as well.
Yeah,
so there's 10% discount available there. Just go onto our website, click on the Season 4 Beers List tab, and you can get your discount code and link straight to Honest Brew's website.
Cool beans. Alright, mate. I think I'm going to wrap it up there and go change into my Jimmy Jams and crawl into bed.
Yes, I think you need to, my friend.
Right, it's been lovely sharing a beer with you.
Yes, highlight of my week.
Yeah, as always. Thank you very much. Listeners, be sure to check out our website, beeroclockshow.co.uk. You can still read Steve's recap of his Sheffield visit, as well as various other bits and pieces as they come up. And the Twitter is at beeroclockshow. There's always lots going on there.
I do enjoy reading other people's blogs, actually, and I get a bit disappointed when the bloggage dries up.
Yeah.
So, I tend to save them up and read them all in one go. So it's nice reading other people's opinions.
But that's it for this week's show. Thank you very much. Join us next week for when we try that. I've got to try and remember how to pronounce this. The Honest Brew Riwaka Hop Mule. Till then, farewell.